Hey, everybody, and welcome to Active Reload. What episode are we on? 46?
46.
46! Number 46. I'm trying to think of anybody off the top of my head that wears number 46 in anything.
Don't
Weird
do
number?
that to me again.
It's a weird number. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Hey, leave a comment if you know anybody.
46 is a good fullback number.
Is 46 a prime number?
No.
Oh, no, it's even, so it probably divides by 2. Hey, guys, welcome to Active Reload. I said that 3 times now. We're going to talk Assassin's Creed. Got a trailer. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the new game that's coming out. We're going to talk about that. We got top 5s that neither of us know what we're talking about. We don't know. We're going to know what the top 5 is once we start doing the top 5.
Okay.
And then what else we got here? Grant, give me the next one.
We got The Division Heartland canceled.
It's
talk
dead.
about that for a second. Saints Row reboot was likely the lowest selling in franchise history. We'll talk about that. And games releasing this week.
And then games releasing this week. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I played Doki Doki Literature Club. That ties into my top 5 as well. Let's get into it.
Oh, no.
Let's do it. Assassin's Creed. Ever heard of it? If you break off the first 2 syllables, it says something funny.
Oh, boy.
And then there's Creed. Assassin's Creed is good. I like Assassin's Creed. I've played every single one of them except for like the old, when they were transitioning from 360 to Xbox One.
Were you talking about the Chronicles one? Did you play the Chronicles?
No, I didn't.
Like it was Chronicles China,
No, those
Chronicles
like a 2D.
India.
Yeah, those were like 2D side scrollers.
They were? Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Some of them are pretty well regarded, and like I think the Russia one is pretty well regarded, and I think the China one is not very well regarded. And I think they did like an India one too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they did India.
But I played all the mainline games except for like Rogue and like Liberation, which were the ones that came out on 360 when everybody was transitioning over to the one.
So this is a big day for you because you're a huge Assassin's Creed fan. It comes out all the time, but it did take a hiatus.
I was gonna say it doesn't come out all the time. They used to have it where it was yearly when they were doing 1, 2, 3 Revelations, Brotherhood. That was like a yearly occurrence. Now since like Origins, they are doing like 3 or 4 year time differences.
Multiple teams doing it. They're approaching it like kind of like Call of Duty, except for it's not released every year.
Yeah, not every year. It's every 3 or 4 years now. So we got the new trailer for the new one, the world premiere. It's called Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's going to take place in feudal Japan. Feels like
finally.
Yeah, that's something that Assassin's Creed fans have been asking for since 2, probably.
To be fair, it's almost too late because we've already got Ghost of Tsushima. We got Rise of the Ronin that came out this year, which is very Assassin's Creed-like. And a couple other ones.
They're going to have to compete with that. Now everybody's going to compare it. We're going through a feudal Japan game renaissance right now.
Yeah, we are.
Which is odd.
And we just left the Viking age.
Yeah. Valhalla. Well, I also think like Vikings, the TV show, was a big proponent of that.
Yes, and also there's a lot of Viking games.
Well, yeah, true.
I take that back because Norse mythology is heavy in all of video games through every generation. Sorry.
Yeah. I think it's also the most easily accepted, other than probably Greek. That's easily accessible for everybody to kind of know what it is. Like, especially with Marvel now that they did Thor and Loki and stuff. Everybody kind of is interested in Norse mythology. But now we're going to Japan. A couple cool things that came with the trailer, as well as an exclusive interview from IGN. I didn't get the
I didn't even
writer's name. I apologize. I'm going to be using a lot of stuff from that IGN breakdown that they did, or not breakdown, but they traveled to Quebec, which is where this one's being made.
A scoop?
Yeah, scoop, quote unquote. So, from the trailer, one of the things we did get from the trailer, 2 playable characters, male and female, totally different styles of play, seemingly, from the trailer that we got, which is going to be very cool. I forgot one's Yosuke.
Yeah, Yosuke, based off a true character or true person.
That's the first time that's ever happened in Assassin's Creed.
A main character based off
of a real person.
Assassin's Creed uses real people in all their games,
but not as playable.
Characters.
They always insert a fictional character into real playable or real environments that actually existed with real.
Are you going to talk about Yusuke? Can I talk about him? I love this character. About him.
You know the history more than I do.
Is an African man who I don't know how he ended up. I think that's mysterious. How he ended up in Japan. he was possibly from
I read he was
Mozambique.
Yeah, I read he was brought to Japan by a Jesuit preacher or something like that.
Yeah, so that makes sense because there was a lot of missions going on.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool character. It was one of the first non-Japanese samurai, and it was probably an honorable samurai. Yeah. I don't think he ever saw battle or ever was allowed to go to battle. Japan does this with a lot of their prisoners. It's hard to tell if they are prisoners.
Right.
They weren't treated like prisoners. If you've ever seen the movie Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, it's very much like that. But you're not allowed to leave. He fought. He fought. Who knows?
Too.
That's not true.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Tom Cruise is not accepting the role if he's not fighting. Yeah, if he's not just going to be a prisoner the whole time.
If he wasn't fighting, I wouldn't have been interested in the movie either.
That's true.
So they weren't quite prisoners, but they weren't allowed to leave. And this guy, there's a lot of stories about this guy. He was known to have the strength of 10 men. He was also really tall. And it's really cool that we can play as this character because I think the other character that we're going to be playing as, which her name is Shoin.
No, her name is Naoe, Naoe, something like that.
Oof, not going to try to pronounce that.
Yeah.
No idea. She's definitely going to be more stealthy, I believe, and he's going to be more combat. I think that's a really cool dynamic.
I also think their personalities are going to clash a lot because Naoe, I really hope they find out how to pronounce that.
It's okay.
She is from a noble family in Japan, according to the background that I read, and a real from a family of a real person of a dynasty.
Okay,
and she's the fictional daughter of somebody who is in that dynasty. So I think they're going to clash in terms of like tradition and whatnot, in terms of their personalities. Because, like I said, Yusuke, not Japanese born, obviously not a quote unquote real samurai.
I mean, yeah. But in this game, I'm sure he's going to know how to use a samurai.
He's going to be the
deadliest. He better know how to use a samurai sword.
He's going to be the deadliest samurai in the history of Japan.
Yeah.
By the time I'm done with him.
Yeah.
So, two very interesting situations. According to the IGN breakdown that they had with it and the interview that they had over in Quebec with creative director Jonathan Dumont, a little French there because he's from Quebec, they wanted to make the stealth more akin to like Splinter Cell is what they were doing. So they added more dynamic lighting. And the lighting, when you're in the light, you're much more visible, obviously, and then you can disappear, make yourself invisible by going into the shadows outside of the light.
Sounds like they could make a Splinter Cell game.
Yeah, but they're not going to, so, good luck with that.
One of my favorite things to do in Splinter Cell is to shoot out the lights. I wonder if we're going to be able to do that.
Okay, you can do that. Cool. Yeah, you're not. Because they did show they showed guns in this game during the trailer, so I don't know if you're going to get like a old school pistol or something like that. I would imagine though it's going to be a lot of throwing stars, like hitting quote unquote light bulbs or whatever.
Yeah.
Lanterns and whatnot, and breaking lanterns to hit out the light. Jonathan Dumont also said they want the combat to feel spectacular, so they've pushed quite a lot of having the objects destroyable or sliceable. So it seems like they're running a lot more physics in this game, which would be really cool, and a lot more destroyable stuff, which would be a lot more cool.
Yeah, it seems like Valhalla, because I'm playing that right now.
Yeah.
It's just a coincidence. I actually was playing it this week. But there were a lot of tables and stuff that you can throw people on and they would break. I wonder if they're talking about that. It's just hyped up more.
Yeah. Also, confirmed in this interview, there will be duels. So it'll be interesting to see how this matches up with like Ghost of Tsushima's duels.
Yeah.
Because those are gorgeous. Some of the prettiest moments that I can remember playing video games are during those duels in Ghost of Tsushima. And they're going to be doing a similar thing in there, very Kurosawa inspired.
Yes.
That's going to be, mini bosses where you have to fight in a duel type of situation. They're going to have actual seasons, dynamic weather. It's the year 2024. Wow. But there's going to be winter, a spring, an autumn, a summer, and it's all going to change the map and everything according to this release that they were talking about, and then a non-linear approach to killing antagonists, similar to how they did it in Mirage, and then Odyssey. Which
Can you give me an example of that? What do you mean by non-linear approach?
So in Odyssey, which was the last game that this team worked on in terms of Assassin's Creed, you could go and there were different kind of, if you were to like imagine the thumbtack and then the string of yarn type of thing, it was a web of different antagonists that you'd go and find that connect to another one, and you can kind of progress the different way that you want to. There's just like a little sliver of a clue that you can go and find.
Kind of like Ubisoft's other game, Wildlands. You ever play Wildlands?
Yeah, similar to that. Yes. but it's a little bit more open in which you can like connect an entire part of the web before you even start another area.
I gotcha.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I think that worked pretty well.
I actually really like that in open world games.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I liked it in Odyssey. That was one of my favorite things in Odyssey, where it felt like you could really kind of progress it the way you wanted to.
I skipped Odyssey. Oh wait, no. I didn't.
Odyssey's in Greece.
I played the Greece one, and I really did not like that.
Yeah, I wasn't as much of a fan for Odyssey either. It's interesting because I think we're both kind of more in the minority of that, which is interesting. I think a lot of people enjoy Odyssey. I do think they do some things well, like where you could go into battles between between Greece and Sparta because it's during the Paleolithic war. It's Paleolithic, whatever. Whatever it's called. I can't remember the name.
Dinosaurs running around.
Yeah, the dinosaurs running around. No, the war between Greece and Sparta was going on, and Peloponnesian War, whatever it's called. And you could choose a side, and there was this big battle, and you'd basically, fight for 15 minutes in these big groupings.
Yeah,
and it was really cool. It felt like a real battle.
Yeah, you can like move your character around and stuff.
Yeah, and
that was really cool.
Yeah. So there were things that I think they did do pretty well.
It's just they did it too often.
Right.
For me.
And a lot of the big thing that I want changed from from Odyssey to Shadows, I thought the voice acting from the main character and the lines of dialogue were written really poorly in Odyssey. I just thought, especially from the male main character, female main character was a little bit better from everything that I've seen because I haven't done a second playthrough of it yet. But the male protagonist was really... like it looked like you were talking to a brick wall.
Well, that actually leads me into what I really like about this trailer. Mm-hmm. The characters, so there's a male and a female. Now it's not going to be the same character. It's just one is a male, one is a female.
Mm-hmm.
I really did not like that, especially in Valhalla. Now, you can play as the female, completely different character, or the male, completely different character.
And they both have their own unique stories.
Yes.
It's not one is canon to the other, like they did in Valhalla and Odyssey. Because like in Odyssey...
it was both Eivor.
Yeah. In Odyssey, the female... I think her name's it's not Catherine, but something similar to that. Her story is the one that's actually canon. So if you play as the male, it's like, well, then why did I just do this if it's not technically canon? And the same thing for Eivor. It's Eivor, the male, is the canon, the canonical way to do it. And they're definitely getting around that with this one, where it's two playable characters. And they did this already in Syndicate, which, in my opinion, Syndicate, pretty underrated.
Because it is underrated. It was just released completely broken.
Right.
Remember?
And it was also... towards the tail, it was after Unity, which was the most egregious one.
Oh, I'm thinking of Unity. I'm sorry, the one where everybody's faces weren't loading in.
I think that was Unity, the one in Paris. Unity was one of the worst releases of all time when it comes to video games.
Yeah, that was
like really soured a lot of people's opinions
at the launch. It was like around PS4 launch and Xbox One launch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it soured a lot of people, and I think a lot of people after Unity were really looking for a change in direction for Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
And then after Unity, Syndicate came out, and it was a lot of more of the same.
Yes.
But Syndicate was a lot more polished. It was a lot more interesting. It took place in London during the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, like the 1890s, right?
Yeah, you were on trains and whatnot, and it was a lot more interesting.
And there was Jack the Ripper was in there.
Yeah, that was one of the DLCs, which is a really cool DLC.
Oh, that actually leads into this next question I have for you. Will this game be polished?
Good question. That's the right question to be asking. I don't know the answer to that.
This was not a gameplay trailer. It was a
CG trailer.
Mostly CG trailer.
I noticed that there was a suspected reveal, like gameplay reveal, June 10th, which is when the Ubisoft Forward presentation is happening.
Yeah.
And that is June 10th. So we're expecting a lot more gameplay to be assumedly revealed at that point. And then release November 15th of this year is when is expected.
That's really late.
That's earlier than I thought.
Well, you thought this was going to be... They do December games, I forgot.
Right. But they announced it like... I think earlier this year that it was kind of shown off.
That's around Call of Duty releases.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to match Call of Duty by any means, but I think Assassin's Creed is big enough to kind of go pretty well.
Okay.
For them. I will say, by the way, Unity, we were bashing on Unity there for a little bit. Unity is a gorgeous game. Now, like if you go back and play it now, it is
that's what
really
I was
pretty.
Alluding to. It was Unity that launched poorly, but was fixed and runs great. I've never played them though. I played Syndicate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Unity, I did not play at all.
Unity, I went back and played Unity recently because I was kind of doing an Assassin's Creed playthrough, and I wanted to, and I got to Unity, and I was like amazed at how, because they like pack the city streets because it's during the French Revolution, and there's like tons of objects in the actual like playable world. There's tons of stuff flowing through the air. It's actually really impressive what they were able to pull off.
I really liked the city or blending in with the crowd. Gameplay mechanic they had in the earlier ones.
And it works a lot better, too, in Unity because there's so many people on the ground and everything.
They don't do that anymore. Now I just
They did it in Mirage.
They did?
Yeah, because Mirage was kind of a step back towards what they wanted to be more stealth, like Assassin's Creed 1
that came out last year?
Yeah, that took place in Baghdad. And that was all right. I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite one. And it felt like definitely filler between Valhalla and then this one, Shadows, that's coming up.
So they are releasing 2 games in 2 years.
Yeah, I think Mirage was made by like a second team.
It seemed like small, though.
It was. It was definitely smaller.
Okay.
Definitely smaller.
All right.
So Assassin's Creed.
That's cool.
Shadows, coming November 15th.
That's crazy. November 15th.
This year.
On top of other Ubisoft news.
Yeah.
This is kind of a hard one for me.
This is kind of heart-wrenching?
Yes.
I'll be here all night.
The Division Heartland is canceled.
Rest in peace. Hey, rest in peace.
And this kind of drives me nuts because I really like The Division 1 and 2. It's just, I thought maybe the AI was really dumb, but the settings were great. Both of them were fantastic and maybe a little bullet spongy.
Yeah, the enemies were definitely.
But I was really interested in what Heartland was going to do with the extraction shooter.
Yeah,
and the being in the Midwest and stuff like that. But the extraction shooter online component, I was really excited for because I think that the Division's multiplayer is very undercooked. I should say. I think it has the potential to be really good. But now it's not going to be nothing.
Right.
And hopefully these guys are, I'm guessing these guys are going to be like, or Ubisoft is going to take these dudes and be like, come work on X Defiant.
Right. Here's the thing I will say about.
Which I guess is.
The thing I'll say about The Division is they do a very, very good job of like environmental world building.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff that you could find and pick up and stuff is like kind of cool and interesting, especially since it's post-apocalyptic and you don't really know anything outside of like a disease happened and everybody was kind of not wiped out, but, sent scurrying, I guess, and society kind of collapsed.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's not that interesting to me. Everything else is not, like the main villain that you fight in both of them is not very interesting. The characters are really lame.
But what I meant is like the foundation is there. And I thought that this game, since it's been developed for a long time, by the way, this game is really far along.
I was wondering about that because I thought we just got that announcement about it being developed recently, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
It was within a year. Well, because they had a battle royale game that they were going to do.
Oh, right.
And then they canceled that and they put all those assets and all that work into the Heartland and they showed off gameplay footage from Heartland.
What? I don't remember
believe. That. I'm pretty sure they did. And it looked like it was far along.
Right.
And now it's canceled. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to use those assets to try your hand at an extraction shooter? Maybe a free-to-play extraction shooter?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that to me, the extraction part of it was not nearly as interesting. I didn't like doing that stuff. I was more of, but that's just my personal play style, to be honest with you.
It was not. It was the most interesting part for me, or the potential for it. What was fun was playing with a friend and just going from A to B to C, shooting a bunch of people. But the graphics are really good, and the stuff that you pick up, it was a lot of same.
Yeah.
But the potential for a really good extraction shooter was there. It's just really close.
So they had, I'm looking this up because you were talking about the videos that they had. And they had like a cinematic intro, I guess, that they posted. This is on Ubisoft's website. I could have
sworn I saw them with hay bales and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and apparently you could have signed up for a PC closed beta.
Yes.
Which, okay, all right.
Which I always do, by the way. With every Ubisoft beta, I'm always in there.
I don't know, man. I think the Division, like the entire Division, whatever, like that style of game is kind of played out for me, to be honest with you. Not necessarily the extraction shooter part of it, but just like the non-playable part of it, or the non-online part of it.
Either way, Ubisoft,
they killed it. They said, yeah, us too.
Ubisoft, you're not going to last. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they are. They're going to make Shadows. They're going to make a ton of money.
No.
Yeah, they will. They're going to make a ton of money.
They're going to make more money on X-Defiant if they can just nail the mechanics.
They're going to make so much money that they are going to put it probably on Game Pass, because that's what they did for Valhalla.
Whatever. All right, moving on. Saints, another game canceled.
Rest in peace, even though this game did not look appealing to me
No, this game looked terrible, and that's why I didn't get it. Saints Row, the reboot. Remember the Saints Row reboot? That trailer that was awful. Terrible trailer. Was the... It's not confirmed, but it was likely the lowest selling in franchise history. Volition is no more. Embracer Group fired everybody. RIP Red Faction.
Red Faction.
Which is a game I am playing uncoincidentally. Or
coincidentally?
No, it's not, because I heard about this and I started playing Red Faction. Red Faction is awesome. I don't know if you've ever played it. Red Faction 1, 2, and Guerrilla.
Yeah.
I think they're really, really cool franchises, and they're just gone now forever.
Right.
The studio development director, Jim Boots, added that he said this, the current social climate had outgrown the tone of prior Saints Row games. No kidding. That's what a lot of people thought when they were playing it. If you want to put social commentary.
I don't know about that.
If you want to put, he said that, the director said that.
Yeah, I know, but I know. I think he's incorrect about that.
You don't think it was the social climate change had outgrown the tone of...
No, people still go back and play those games.
Well, I think he's talking about do you know the story in the game?
For the most part.
It had
for sure.
Their own social commentary on it. Now, I think it was just kind of lazily done, or it wasn't presented very well because it looked stupid to me.
I mean, are you talking about the reboot and not the original?
The reboot. The original.
Okay. I'm thinking of the original.
Oh, the original had great social commentary.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought you were talking about.
No.
And he was saying that doesn't age well. And I'm like,
no, he's talking about...
People still go back and play that game.
Yes. The social... Okay, so the current social climate, the current one, as of today, has outgrown the tone of prior Saints Row games.
So the original ones?
Yeah, I guess.
Which is false.
It is false, but maybe because that was kind of a big thing for a lot of people. They're like, it didn't. So when you talk about social commentary, I always think of Metal Gear games. They're perfect. Right. They're very creative when it comes to what they want to say about what's happening in the world or in America. In the case of Metal Gear, right now, they did it really well, and I don't think gamers want to hear that from Ubisoft at this moment. Now, I was actually wrong. He's probably talking about the older ones. The older ones. Yeah. But the funny thing is, he's really out of touch because the newer Saints Row reboot had really nothing to do with the older ones.
Right.
It didn't have the same tone at all. The older ones were very gangster hip hop inspired.
And they were
comedy.
Everybody kind of I remember the Saints Row games as being a more absurd version of GTA.
Yes.
That's how I always remember the older Saints Row games.
Yeah. So this guy, goodbye. This guy's obviously out of touch with his own game and his own audience.
Jeff Boots?
Jim Boone.
Oh, I thought it was Jim Boots, and I was like, no, he did get
Boone.
the boot.
Not Ed Boon from Mortal Kombat.
Right, good one. GTA is another one that I think of when I think of like social commentary. Like GTA does that.
Perfect.
Yeah, they do it all the time. In GTA 5, they did it in GTA 4. They've done it in every single one of them.
Yeah.
There's social commentary in all of them. So, and
it's going to take some real creative talent to really make it not acceptable, but for people to believe it, I guess.
Well, and I also think that Saints Row, everybody approaching Saints Row kind of knows what they're getting into. Like, it's absurd. It's completely absurd video game.
Yeah, but you really should see the gameplay of the new one. It's not.
No, like I agree 100%. It does not have the same vibe whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's part of the problem because you're alienating the original audience that loved the Saints Row games so much.
Yeah.
And then
I think Saints Row 2 is really good. I really liked one.
That's the best one in my opinion.
When one came out, it was before Grand Theft Auto 4, and people were really waiting for a next gen 360 PS3 era GTA game, and then Saints Row came in and kind of snuck in,
undercut it.
It was actually really good. And then Part 2 came after GTA 4, and I thought Part 2 was great.
Yeah.
And then Part 3 went really bonkers with what was the tagline for it?
I don't remember.
The third.
Saints Row, and you were the president. Is that right? Or is that the fourth?
No,
one?
that was the fourth one.
Yeah. So it kind of, it
got really weird.
Absurd.
Tim and Eric from Tim and Eric Awesome Show Great Job fame, they did the trailers for those games, and they were hilarious. Very weird.
Yeah.
And that's what sold me.
Yeah, so I don't know. I still think there is a world in which Saints Row can exist.
Not anymore.
I mean, it's dead now, but...
Which sucks is the talent
sad.
Is gone. Yeah. Because those guys at Volition made great games.
Right, but here's the thing. The essence of Saints Row was lost when they released the new version of it.
Yeah.
Because they completely lost the idea of what Saints Row really was beforehand, which is just absurd. It honestly, and pretty creative in terms of like what you were able to, especially in the second one. Because I remember you could make your own gang, and then Clubhouse was all customized and everything like that. Like that was pretty cool. It was kind of ahead of its time. It was more ahead of its time than like GTA 4. GTA 4 came out. It was pretty, in terms of customization, a little bit more linear than Saints Row was.
Yeah,
right?
GTA 4 was ahead of its time, especially
that was true.
GTA Online was no one even.
Which is so funny to see where it is now.
Yeah, and it's almost the same thing. Yeah. It's just in Liberty City. But yeah, that's it. R.I.P. Red Faction. Man, I love Red Faction.
Rest in peace, Red Faction.
Gosh, that game's so good. I'm playing it. I'll talk about it when I'm playing it this week, but hopefully if I remember, because I didn't write it down.
Nice one,
Loser.
Dude. All right. That's the big news.
Yeah, I'm really interested in James's mysterious top 5.
You're starting first.
I am?
Yep. Because mine is I have a caveat.
I didn't really...
I told you we were doing top 5. You're going to tell me we didn't do top 5. You're the one that wanted to do top 5.
I didn't want to, but then you told me you didn't want to, so I kind of forgot everything. But I have it in my
so what are you doing?
I have my top head.
All right.
My top head right now.
Go ahead.
My
number 5. Or wait, are we doing OLI?
There was one OLI.
OLI.
The OLI was Titanfall 2, and not because...
Well, wait a minute. What is the top 5?
Top 5 is most underrated multiplayer games. Multiplayer shooters.
Okay.
Competitive multiplayer shooters. And number outside the line was Titanfall 2, which is a great game, and I don't think it's overrated or underrated.
Underrated?
I don't think it's underrated, but a lot of people will have this on their list. And
everybody will have it on their list.
It's not underrated. It's just undersold.
It's on your OLI. That means it's 6th.
Yeah.
So you think it's underrated?
No, I wanted to mention it. It's not number 6. But...
Okay. It's OLI number 1, though.
Yeah.
Out of a top 5.
Hey, James.
So it's 6. What's number 5?
I didn't write any of this down. I really want to start this over.
Are we skipping?
Yeah.
So you want me to go then?
Yeah, you didn't tell me you wanted me to do it.
I did.
And I don't want to.
You were the one that came to me and you were like, "Hey, let's do top 5s," and then I said, "I don't want to."
I know that's why I didn't write it down.
And then I came to you yesterday. I was like, "All right, we'll do top 5s, but I'm not going to tell you what mine is."
It was this morning.
Whatever.
I didn't know you wanted me to do it though, because I would have had it right. I'm gonna have a hard time remembering these.
And I dropped my phone that has a top 5, so hold on a second.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna cut this.
No, you can't cut it.
Yeah, I am.
No, that's a great way to start.
I'll do my underrated top.
See, this is mine's a lot less interesting now. If I don't have a top 5,
good, because it's less interesting. Because I don't. Mine is going to be me fumbling around my phone constantly.
That's what I'm doing right now. Top 5. Okay, so let me preface this by saying last night I played a very, speaking of underrated, overrated video game called Doki Doki Literature Club.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing that game and I was like, man, this inspired me to do a top 5.
Yes.
So here's my top 5.
Yeah.
The top 5 is called Top 5 Video Game Genres That Aren't Actually Video Games. Number 5.
That's a great top 5.
Number 5, point and click games.
Oh, come
There is no reason you should be playing point and click games. Don't need to.
Kidding
There's
me?
so many other better versions of whatever point and click games want to be that you can, instead of point and click, I'll give you Myst. Myst, a very popular point and click.
That's not a video game?
Nope. You know why? Because there's a better version of it. It's called any of the Elder Scrolls games. It's just Elder Scrolls, but it's point and click and a lot more boring. Number 5, point and click games. Go play something else. All right, you don't need to be playing.
What about you're talking about point and click action or adventure games?
Number 4,
like all the great,
yeah.
Disney. What are the Disney spinoff games?
What are you talking about right now?
Who makes the CG from Disney? What's it called?
CG?
Yeah, all the CG work.
Pixar?
Stop. No.
Pixar was used to.
The LucasArts. All these great LucasArts games.
Shout out Lucas.
Great LucasArts games. They were, point and click games.
What you're saying? All these great LucasArts, and you haven't named one.
I can't remember the call.
Right, exactly. Number 5, point and click games. Number 4,
You're
and
wrong.
number 4, 3, and 2 can actually all kind of be tied together, to be honest with you. But number 4, board games / solitaire, not video games. Those are just board games ported into video game form.
It ported into what, James?
Yeah, it just ported into video game form, but that doesn't mean they're video games. They're board games.
Okay.
And solitaire. Solitaire's just, you know how you can play solitaire? Just bring a deck of cards to wherever you are.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you on that one.
There you go, solitaire. Number 3, casino table games. Not video games. You're just playing blackjack. You can also play that at your house too. Just throw a couple down. Hey, if you want to play roulette, you know what you could do? Just make a big circle. Throw it around.
This is practically the same as your last.
Exactly. That's why I said 3, 2, 4, 3, 2 are all the same. Number 2, this might be a little controversial.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Chess, not a video game. Here's what I will say. There are iterations of chess that work out and become video games. Perfect example, Hearthstone. That's a chess-style video game that turned into itself its own chess-style strategy game.
There's Teamfight Tactics, but there's a bunch of chess-like games.
Chess is not a video game. Chess is a board game. That counts as 4, 3, and 2.
Hold on. Can I get a caveat? I agree with you.
Okay.
But what if it's a chess game? It's the same game, but they animate the pawns and the rooks.
Are you talking about like Wizard's chess and Harry Potter?
Exactly.
No, not a video game. You're playing chess. Just
even if
different
it's
pawns.
Okay. All right.
No video game. Not a video game. It's chess. It's just chess. And number 1, and this will be number 1 far and away, okay? This will never change in my mind. Nothing will eclipse number 1 on this list.
I know.
Visual novels.
Yeah.
I believe in a lot of things, including freedom for all.
Yes.
But the people who put visual novels on Steam, PlayStation Store, Xbox, Microsoft Marketplace, jail time. Jail time. Make a video game, okay? Don't make a book. Doki Doki Literature Club, which I finished last night, that's 4 hours I'll never get back, okay? You know what I was doing that whole game? I was doing this.
Yeah, I thought it was great, though. Riveting.
This is riveting to you? This is what I was doing. Grant,
the narrative was riveting.
Grant, I'm not kidding you. When at one point, I had the controller behind my head, and I was just doing this.
Well, of course, that's fine.
Not a game, okay? It's a book in a video game. That's in an Xbox Marketplace.
Yeah.
Okay? And Steam. You want to know why Steam's bad? Gabe, I'm looking at you. It's because you allowed all these dang visual novels on the stupid Marketplace.
Can we talk about Doki Doki? I thought it was great. It's a horror game, but it's disguised as a romance simulator. Like
it's not that good. No, it's not that good. Because the first 2 hours, it is a romance simulator.
Yeah.
And then it does take a little bit of a
But he did admit that it did pick up in the second half.
It does pick up in the second half because it's a lot more interesting. But you know what kills it? The fact that I'm still pressing A and having to read all this stuff. You know how you read books?
He was a Yuri guy, by the way.
You know how you read books? You read line by, and then you turn the page.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not every line you're clicking. That's not how books work.
I was a Sayori guy.
I hated it.
Monica, you go to Monica at the literature club, and she goes, "Hey, don't leave her hanging around." And you go to her house, and you go into her room, and she had, spoiler, hanged herself.
Right. And here's
it was
the thing.
Shocking to me, and I was like, "What?" And then the other girl you hook up with, spoiler, stabs herself to death.
Right.
And then you're locked in the room with her for a weekend while she rots. Yeah. And I thought that was really impactful.
You know what would have been more riveting? If it happened in a game where I'm actually moving around and doing stuff.
I got you.
And then I found her, okay. And I was like, oh.
James, I thought that was a great top 5.
Thank you. And it's correct, too, because visual novels should be banned from marketplaces.
You're missing an OLI, though.
What's an OLI?
And I don't agree with this, but I thought you would say this. Walking simulators.
Okay, so here's the thing. Those can be deviated more,
because those are technically visual novels. You're just moving your character through it.
Give me an example of a walking simulator that you would say.
Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Okay, give me another one that I've heard of.
Gone Home.
Okay, that's fine. We can throw that in there if you want. Absolutely. Not a video game. I'm glad you agree.
Okay.
Fair enough. Agreed. The other ones that I would also kind of throw in there are the really garbage. What's Ubisoft's engine that they put out in the public that you can use, that you can create your own stuff with?
Oh, is UbiArt?
No, maybe it's not Ubisoft, but it's a very popular.
Oh, you're talking about.
This is going to bother me.
It's a Tarkov is on it, and it's surprising.
Tarkov is on this engine?
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh my God. I have a friend that used to work for them.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I do.
So there's an engine out there that makes, for whatever reason, Slenderman became a very popular thing. And then they decided to, hey, let's make anybody on the
Unity
Unity engine. Thank you. Anybody that had access to a computer was like, hey, let's make a Unity scary game. And they were all the exact same, where you had to collect pages and then you get jump scared by some random artifact out in the middle of the woods. Not video games, by the way. Those don't count. That's all the same thing. I'll give you like one original Unity game for that started doing that first. But after that, it was all just copy and paste.
Yeah, those are practically homebrew games.
Yeah, and they're awful. It's homebrew, but it tastes like piss. Great, dude. I'm glad you homebrew your stuff. Awesome. So yeah, my top 5 video game genres that aren't genres. Number 1, visual novels. The other 5, on the other 4, I could be convinced otherwise. Maybe point and click, maybe not.
Okay, but how about this? What about like a Jeopardy?
What about Jeopardy?
I have Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune on my PS5.
Trivia game. One of the most classic games in history.
And is that a game?
Sure. It's a video game.
All right.
Yeah, you press more buttons in playing Jeopardy than you do in this game in Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yep.
Doki
Use
Doki
a
Literature Club.
and A.
Exactly. Doki Doki Literature Club, you know what it should do? It should just be on phones.
That game
it's the same thing.
Was created by one guy, and he started his stuff by creating mods for
Unity.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I can't.
Here's what I'll say. Look, no disrespect to that guy, because I bet he could make some really cool things if he wanted to. Just make games instead of books inside of, a marketplace. I'm glad you told me to play that game, because now, look, here's the thing. Wouldn't have gotten this top 5 without it. I wouldn't have thought about it, because I won't ever play visual novel games, because they don't count. Especially, here's what I'll say.
Corpse Party is a really good visual novel.
Here's what I'll say, though. Really quick. $12 for that?
Yeah.
Have you lost your mind?
It was on sale. It was like 25% off.
What? It's 25% off of $12?
It was like 15, I think. Yeah, original.
What was the original price?
The original price on PC is free, but when it came to Xbox, it was 15.
Prison.
Go to prison.
You're charging $15 for a visual novel?
That game stuck with me, and it stuck with James, so he just won't admit it.
$5 maximum. That's what you can charge if you're putting them on Steam. Microsoft, Sony, $5. All right. That's it.
Great top 5.
Visual novels, number 1. I can be convinced otherwise for point and click games. Chess. Chess is kind of hard. I like chess. No, it doesn't really.
It's a great game.
But it is. It's one of the most classic games in the history of mankind. But video game, no.
It's definitely just a game. More fun to play.
Although, Doki, yes, I agree.
Chess is heavily played online.
You're right. That's where I could be convinced otherwise. Absolutely.
With rankings and ELO rankings, basically.
But you're still, you're not saying, if you ask somebody, what their favorite video game is, and they said chess.
Yeah.
Would you be like, okay, well, wait a minute. You don't play video games.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like something.
Now, imagine I told you Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah. Great game.
It's not your favorite game of all time, though. You know why? Because it's a novel.
Here's what I'm
your
going to say.
Favorite book.
I feel like anything that you play, you have to play with your hands on a digital platform, like a TV screen, is considered a video game.
That is absurd. Do you realize that DVD players, when they gave you the remote, you had more action buttons on those?
Yeah, but here, Doki Doki is a game. You have to play it in order to finish it. And it is in video format. It is technically a video game through and through. There's no doubt about it. Now, I agree with you whether or not it should be on Microsoft. Of course it should be on Microsoft's console. But if you had a console and you said this is a console made for games and we don't consider visual novels games, I would accept that.
Fact.
That would be your opinion. I would accept it. But my opinion is that it is on video format and it is a game. Of course it's a game.
The only marketplace it should be on is Barnes & Nobles. That's a bookstore for all of you that don't know.
I remember fondly.
Here's what I'll say. Would you consider, when you could buy DVDs back in the day?
Yeah.
And go through push play, all that stuff, the good old stuff, and they did
try to put games on their DVDs.
And also, you can't get through to the ending of those DVD movies without pressing play. So are those games?
No. It's not a game. It's a movie, though. You don't.
I would argue Doki Doki.
There's only one
outcome.
Close. It's predetermined. It's a video that is predetermined. Now in Doki Doki, there's like 4 or 5 different endings,
except for the movie Clue.
There is a skill involved in it too.
There's a skill. Yeah, yes. How fast I can click A?
No, the skill is writing the poetry and keeping track of what girl likes what and stuff like that.
See,
it's very, but that was deep, but
it was, I don't know. But
it is a game.
But here's the thing. You can keep track of what you're clicking or whatever in terms of the poetry that you're writing, but you don't actually know what you're writing.
Okay.
You're just clicking words that are like mean more to to a certain person.
Yes.
But you don't actually see what you're writing.
Well, you can tell which
that would
word.
Be a lot more
like anything that says secret or dark, that's Yuri.
Yeah, I know, but
Sayori
I would have rather actually written
love,
something. Stupid.
Romance. And then Natsuki is jump, joy, happy.
Right.
And Monica is,
control.
Death, control.
Yeah. I would have liked it more if it was like I was clicking these and it was developing some sort of actual poem. But it's not that. It's just
you're just trying to impress a girl.
I love
this game. Okay. We don't need to talk about it forever.
That's Doki Doki Literature Club. Hey, don't buy it unless it's $5.
Unless Grant buys it for you.
Unless Grant buys it,
you're
which
welcome.
Technically for me it was
you're
free.
Welcome for this great content.
That's fine. It was free. But hey, here's the thing. He spent $12. That's robbery, in my opinion.
Nah, I'm glad you played it.
All right.
I'm glad. Technically it was kind of a troll buy for you. I thought I would surprise you.
You told me it was one of your favorite games of the year. You told me that.
It is.
That's so insane, dude. Okay, whatever.
You know who would agree with me? The 99% of overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. They would agree with me.
Oh, you know what's crazy? 99% of 300 people?
Yeah,
That's 290 people.
Yeah, right. All right. That's it for the news, dude.
Just go read a book. All right, let's move on.
Book. Do you have any books? Top 5 books?
Top 5 books on what?
Horror.
I don't read a lot of horror.
I know.
I need to get into horror, though.
Pansy.
I do want to read horror.
Yes,
but
good
here's the other
stuff.
thing. You asked me if I got jump scared in that game. It'd be like getting jump scared in that book.
No.
Like I got jump scared, but I didn't get jump scared because nothing was really scary.
Great horror novel, by the way, if you're ever interested. It is very good.
Nice.
It is. It's my favorite Stephen King novel, probably. Yeah.
Of all time,
that and Pet
really?
Cemetery.
Under the
those
Dome.
are not great movies, but
yeah, true. Sadly not.
Great books. Pet Cemetery is great. Very, very scary. All right. And I'm not a Stephen King fan at all, but in a time period in the 80s, early 90s, when I first started reading,
that dude just writes, dude. He writes. I don't know if I'll ever read Stephen King because of how much he writes.
Well, you just read 1 or 2 Stephen Kings because you start to notice the same patterns and flow, and it starts to feel like a TV show. But
1,000 pages is a lot, though.
Yeah, don't read. What's the End of the World famous King book novel?
End of the World?
The Stand.
Oh, I don't know that one. Okay, never mind.
The Stand is really...
All right, let's move on.
Not great. Anyways.
Hey, we got notable games coming out.
Notable games releasing this week.
Number 1, the game that Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be compared to for the rest of its existence.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is coming out for PC, I believe, correct?
Yes, it's PC.
Just PC.
For the
that
first
game already
time.
exists on PlayStation, but pretty cool.
Here's a question. Why have a PlayStation anymore? All these games... People used to say that about Xboxes. Why would you have an Xbox Series X?
Yeah, but...
all these games are coming to PC. You can start saying this with Sony.
No, because remember what was important about that? It was who was getting it first. That was the thing. On PlayStation first.
Yeah, but Helldivers came out this year. It came out simultaneously. I think that's what they're going to be doing.
That's okay, but whatever. But you don't get the director's cut of Ghost of Tsushima first.
Do you like this game?
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time. Of all time.
It is really good. I wish the combat was better. To me...
Well, how about you shut up? How about that? How about you go play Doki Doki Literature Club?
Once you start playing and the awe of the game wears off, because it will. I mean, there's a lot to explore.
Dude, speak for yourself.
But when you start to fight and you do the standoff, and there's not...
The standoffs are so cool.
You really just press a button to kill somebody and press a button to counter. It's like Batman, the Arkham games.
How dare you? There's different stances.
But even... more simple.
Yeah, no, but the stances are all different. So you get
you're
different
like, okay,
stances
this guy has a shield.
Yeah.
Let me just press this button to change my stance, and that's
cool combos though too. You get cool combos depending on what you're hitting on those stances.
You don't need those at all.
It's awesome. I love Ghost of Tsushima. The standoffs, I've never felt more powerful. And this is including like when I blew up the nuclear bomb in Megaton. Yeah. I've never felt more powerful than when I win a standoff in Ghost of Tsushima. I feel like I could conquer the world when I'm winning standoffs. And they get scared too. Oh God, that feels good. The Mongols, get off of my, what are they? It's not they're in part of Japan, but it's not
your sash.
Get off Tsushima, dude.
Okay.
That's what I say to the Mongols.
Another game coming to PC for the first time is Vigor. Jump in on the extraction shooter. This is a third-person extraction shooter game made by Bohemia. These guys make pretty good games. This game's been on console for a long time, and it's finally coming to PC. I think people will like it.
My favorite type of thing to wash my laundry with.
Vigor? It's energy.
Vinegar. That's the joke I was going for there.
Okay.
White vinegar. Fun fact: if you want to get rid of your formaldehyde smell, use white vinegar.
Yeah, this guy likes to shop at the.
I did. I got. So,
graveyards.
I was shopping for pants. Big guy problems. Okay, it's hard for me to shop for pants unless online. So you get it. And sometimes we buy for whatever reason. Some places just like to just soak it in formaldehyde, and that is because it keeps bugs off of it as well as stops it from wrinkling in transit. Essentially,
that's because of the travel. It's coming from somewhere far.
Absolutely,
into a ship,
it is.
into
and
a
you know what? That's okay
plane,
with me. But as long as it's not just ripping formaldehyde in its package, which it was, and it was gross. And I could not get the smell. I washed them like 5 times. And thankfully, I am getting a refund, even though I washed them and took the tags off. So, anyways, formaldehyde story. Welcome to Active Reload. Vigor. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Now, one of the most anticipated games of the year.
I forgot this is coming out.
Finally, it's been a long time. I've been waiting for the sequel for a long time. That is Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, which is a stupid name.
Yep. Add it to the list.
But it's one of the big Xbox games releasing this year.
If not
the biggest,
which is, I'll be honest with you, really depressing.
Really? You weren't? This was one of his favorite games that he played last year.
I loved it, but if it shouldn't be your number one release in a year on the schedule. It surprised them that it was this good. The first one was that good.
Yeah, it's true.
So
that's why they bought him.
It shouldn't be like a number one that you're coming out to bat with.
Ninja Theory is the developers. They make great games.
They do very good work. First one's great. We'll see about the second one. I'm still a little hesitant, but we'll see.
I was a little taken aback when they said that you can't fight multiple people at the same time, which was my favorite thing to do in the second one.
I'm also very curious to see how they expand on her having schizophrenia. Is it right?
Schizophrenic.
On how they expand on that in the second one.
Yeah, they're in Iceland now, or are they?
Yeah, and does it get worse? Are the visions worse, or
they're still staying with the Norse mythology?
Yeah, I wonder if she's getting help.
It is funny.
Didn't exist back then, but
when
maybe.
It comes to her husband, who would help her.
Yeah, but he's dead,
and he died. That's why she went on a.
So now she's going crazy.
Yeah, she went on a bender.
Awesome.
I'm excited. It's my second most anticipated game. Number one is NCAA, which got a new
tomorrow.
It got a new cover.
Yeah, we did. We get the cover. We got the cover of it, which will be cool.
New information comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, we get new information. I'm assuming we'll get a trailer tomorrow.
I can possibly add something in with just audio. Maybe I'll just be like, "Hey, the game looks cool, bro."
Yeah, I don't know if the trailer's not mind blowing, which I don't think it's.
I don't think it will be.
Yeah. So.
But nothing about this game is going to be mind-blowing to anybody other than me and James.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think it's going to... You know what? You want my hot take for the year?
Yeah.
It's going to be the highest selling sports game this year.
Oh, you're crazy.
No, I bet it is.
No, EAFC is just dominating.
Okay, that's fair.
If you say America, I might...
I'll say America.
Okay.
I'll say America. So bigger than 2K, bigger than Madden.
Yeah, that's still going to be a close one.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be the biggest. Everybody's been waiting so long for this. Every football fan.
Yeah, I've been waiting. Now, for those who have a copy of NCAA 2014, hold off.
Yeah, hold off, actually.
Hold off. Don't sell now.
Yeah, because if it's probably terrible.
At the highest it's ever going to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's possible that this new game, comes out and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And so your value of your NCAA 2014 will go up even higher.
But here's the risk of that. It could be really good and then nobody wants NCAA 14 anymore.
Exactly.
So
do whatever. If you have 2 copies, sell 1 right now.
Yeah, true. System Shock remake's coming out this week.
My most anticipated console game. I played this on my PC, and my PC is not built to play modern games anymore.
I'm going to play this because I've never played System Shock.
Oh, you're going to kind of like it.
Okay, good sell. Thank you. How am I going to kind of like this, but you told me Doki Doki Literature Club is going to be the greatest game you've ever played?
I did not say that.
I'm putting that one into your mouth a little bit, sure, but...
I think you'll like it. You have to have patience with this game. It's very hard.
Okay. It's very hard?
Not in terms of shooting and aiming for a head and stuff like that. It's not like Legendary on Halo.
Okay.
It's not that kind of hard. It's just where to go.
Right. Oh, okay.
Stuff like that.
Directional stuff.
There are a lot of things that you need to do or you can do. It's a lot like Prey.
All right. I'm being sold less and less.
I know. It's a lot like Prey where you will be like, what do I do now? And you have the tools to do it. They're just not telling you how to use them.
Yeah. I will say, if I'm sold on it enough in terms of like the actual game itself and like the story and everything,
the story is so good. The atmosphere is top notch.
Okay.
Even the original had great atmosphere.
That was the problem I had most with Prey. Other than it did feel like they kind of just threw you in, but I didn't like the enemy types either. I thought they were just kind of annoying.
And then Night Dive Studios made this game.
Moving on. No, shout out Night Dive, but we literally shout you out. I think every episode.
Every week, you guys are the best.
Give us a tour.
You're the
at
best,
the very least, or something.
The hottest video game development crew, in the world right now.
That's not true because FromSoft still exists.
No, yes, it's true, but Night Dive puts out like 4 games a year.
Right.
And they're all remasters.
And they're so hot.
Yeah.
Hey, what we're playing?
That's what we're playing. Or that's
what's coming out. You got to flip the page over, and you'll see what we're playing this week.
Do you want to go first, James? Because I have a lot of games.
I got nothing. Doki Doki Literature Club.
I got 10 minutes to talk about it.
Doki Doki Literature Club. It was a visual novel. Number 2 on the list. Fallout 4. I'm doing a Minuteman run. At a minute's notice, sir.
That's like the worst faction in the game.
God, I love it. Here's the thing: you got to download the mod, the Liberty Reborn mod. Makes it a lot more feasible because you can have Minutemen in power armor and stuff like that, like real true Minutemen guards and stuff. It's a lot cooler. You can make the castle look amazing, and then you can go get your settlements and everything. I wasn't a settlement builder, and I made I looked like I was remodeling my house when I was rebuilding the castle.
Well,
because I wanted to. It was awesome. So, shout out Preston Garvey. There's another settlement that needs your help, and I will be there.
I'll mark it on your map.
I'll go to it too, Preston. You don't have to worry about that. You know why? Because you're going to be coming with me. Because Preston's my homie. We dap up every single time we see each other. He calls me General, though. I'm higher ranking than him, but I kind of got it because I tripped and fell into him.
Can you kill him permanently?
Can I what?
Can you kill him permanently? I know you can down him and you can knock him out, but he gets back up, I think.
I think you can. I think it depends on your. Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna speak. I don't know because he's technically a companion.
Yeah.
And if you have a companion,
they can die.
They can die. I don't think so.
I might be wrong.
Dogmeat can't die in 4. He can die in New Vegas though, so be careful.
Yeah, I was about to say he can die in 3. New Vegas. Okay.
But most of the other ones can't die. Like Valentine can't die. Piper can't die.
Basically, in Bethesda games, nobody can die if they have some sort of tie to a future mission.
Yeah, or a main character.
Yeah.
Unless she's your wife in Fallout 4, or dad.
Or if you mod it out.
Fun fact.
You can kill a bunch of people when you mod everything.
Fun fact. If you want to predict how a story is going to go in Fallout, look for your parents or your son.
Yeah.
And you can kind of predict where the story's going.
And you can kill them all with mod. Calm down, YouTube. I'm talking about video games.
Right. Hey, shout out Fallout. Yeah. Let's move on to whatever you're playing, dude. What are you playing?
I actually play video games.
What was that?
I'm just joking.
I played your Doki Doki game. And playing's a strong word.
Bad time to say that. All right. I am playing.
Wait. There's no other type of video game that has a button specifically for, hey, by the way, we can auto press this button for you so you don't have to worry about it. There's nothing else that does that. Video game, my butt.
I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Speaking of video games.
And you know what? I like this game. Sort of.
Good game.
At first I didn't like it, but now I kind of like it because I know that everything's going to be the same throughout the whole game.
Yes, sir.
But I like raiding little towns. It's kind of cool.
Pretty cool. Killing everybody.
My biggest issue with this game, I'm going to start off right at the bat, is the leveling RPG elements in the game.
That's fair.
I don't like raiding a town and then going 10 feet over and raiding another town, and they're all like 10 levels higher than me, and you can't kill them. I don't like that. But I do like the atmosphere, and I am a sucker for Norse mythology and history of England.
You haven't even gotten to the Asgardian parts, have you?
No, I haven't.
Man, you're gonna be a sucker for those. Even though you might hate it because it's not very.
So I'm enjoying. So I think Rise of the Ronin got me into kind of open world flow of the games, and so I wanted to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I'm enjoying it.
Have you? I'm trying to gauge where you were.
Move on. Oh no, I am at where I'm about to go to London. I'm about to go to London.
Okay. Have you taken a big trip on a big ship?
No.
Somewhere?
Yeah.
Nope, not at the beginning, though.
Okay. Yeah. No.
No, you have not. Okay, cool.
All right. That's good enough. Thank you.
That's where I know you are.
All right. Little Kitty, Big City.
Little Kitty. I saw you playing this the other day.
Me and Odin been playing it.
Yeah, Little Kitty, Big City. Is it good?
Yeah, it's actually really good. Remember I told you I was really nervous that they weren't going to allow you to jump and have platforming?
Yeah.
They can. You can jump freely, and you can actually hold the A button to kind of aim where you're going to land.
Oh, okay.
It's really good.
Cool.
It's a game where it's one of those games where you can't get to a certain point until you do a certain thing.
Right.
But playing with a little kid, it's fun doing that.
Yeah.
Coming from me, it'd be really annoying if I want to finish a game and I'm like, oh, where the heck is this cucumber?
I don't like that either.
But
cucumber?
Yeah.
Is that something you have to get in there?
So Odin actually was playing this game, and I jumped in on a save, and he was like, hey, check this out. He takes me to the parking lot. It takes place in Tokyo, where your cat, this little black kitty, fall from their window, and you have to get back up to your window. That's it. That's the mission. And you have to talk to crows and dogs and all this stuff.
Do you get 9 lives?
But it's very much like an old school point and click video game, like Day of the Tentacle,
worst kind.
A LucasArts game, one of the greatest games of all time.
Worst kind.
Where you have where someone gives you a mission, hey, find this. And so Odin went into some lady's shop, grocery store, and stole all her lemons.
What?
And stole everybody's phone. You could trip people and steal their phone. And he took all their phones and put in a giant pile hidden in this parking lot. I found out, I was like, Odin, you've been playing this game for like an hour, just stealing people's phones? He's like, yeah.
Okay.
And lemons? Okay.
All right.
It's funny. This game is very cute, but a good kind. It's really cool.
Day of Tentacle would have been cool if it was a game.
It was a game, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, if it was like a real game.
It's a very good game.
Like a move around game.
Ghost Runner 2, playing this. You remember
Ghost Runner. Yep.
I only played it for about a couple hours. I beat the first level, fought the boss. I thought the first boss was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
The start of the second level, where you're killed with one hit and you reload. I like these games like Hotline Miami. It's just, it could be in 3D.
Right.
But it can't be where I have to travel from A to B and it take longer than 5 seconds. When I die, I want to be like in Hotline Miami. When you die, you start immediately. This one, you start immediately, but you have to get there to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an extra 10, 15 seconds of traveling, of platforming. And I cannot stand that. So I gave up. Sorry.
One of my favorite.
You don't have much. I need to be engaged throughout the whole thing or I'm going to move on.
One of my favorite action scenes in a movie of all time that I can remember recently anyways and one that you would like a lot is from John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Where they do, you should see it because this scene's incredible. They do an entire scene where John Wick is in a building and it's shot like it's top down, like it's Hotline Miami.
Oh, really?
It's so cool.
That's cool.
And I have no idea how they did it, but it's awesome.
All right. And then Red Faction talked about it. Red Faction is really cool. One of the first games that you can actually blow up the ground. If you want to get from point A to point B, you can dig a hole with like explosives.
Yeah. Physics.
And pop back up. It was really revolutionary at the time. Great story. Mars Revolution. It was really cool. I love it. Rest in peace.
And now it's dead.
We're never going to get it.
Peace.
Maybe, my boys can remake this game.
What are you talking about, man? Stop it.
All right. And then a game I really want to talk about. Unicorn Overlord. Remember I talked about it a couple of weeks ago from Vanillaware?
No.
How these guys are very, very special. It's a special group in the world of video games.
Are these your guys too?
They make games specifically for a certain niche, I should say. And all their genres are different. But
is it niche or niche?
Niche, whatever.
Okay, there we
Tomato,
go.
tomato.
All right.
These games are these developers are very, very good at what they do. They're small games and they have a fantastic art direction. All their games have a fantastic art direction. Kind of like Supergiant.
Okay.
Unicorn Overlord is a strategy game, a turn-based strategy game, but you don't really, it's like an auto level or
okay.
I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like tactics, Teamfight Tactics, if you're familiar with that game from the League of Legends guys, where you set up your crew and you are on a board and you let them fight. And they can die or they can win. Either way, you reload and you try again.
This sounds pretty close to chess.
Yes. But it's a turn-based strategy, kind of like an old school RPG, like a Final Fantasy RPG, but it's auto-played for somewhat. But there's an world where you can move your pieces around, like chess, I guess.
But it's different than chess because there are different
Risk, I should say,
rules of the game.
And it's a lot of
chess.
fun, and it's got a great story and lots of characters, and the art direction is fantastic, man. These guys really know how to design characters. And when I say that, I mean they're the best in the industry at designing characters visually. Really good. It has an anime aesthetic. They made other games like Miramasa, Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, which is their most famous one, and 13 Sentinels, which is the game that they came out before this, which is super highly regarded. The industry is going through a terrible time right now. Everybody should be playing Vanillaware games. Buy a Vanillaware game. Buy anything. Buy Dragon's Crown. Do you like fighting? Buy it. These guys are very, very good, and I wish they were millionaires, but they're not. But they
won't be because they'll get bought by somebody.
They keep on keeping on. If you get my drift.
True. Well said.
So I wanted to give them a shout out. I love their games. And then Resident Evil 4 VR. That game is scary. Why are
you playing that in VR?
Just give this game to prison inmates because
how can you play this game? Doki Doki Literature Club.
How do you play this game in VR?
Yeah, why are you playing that game in VR? Isn't it? I would just assume
it's so scary.
I would just assume it's better off of VR too.
No, it's really cool. The graphics are great. I bet they're the best graphics in VR right now. I bet them and Half-Life Alyx are probably neck and neck with this game with graphics. And I think it's really cool. Shooting. Really cool accessories that you can like pick up and stab. You can actually hold. This is the remake, by the way. You can hold the knife and the gun at the same time, so you can counter like a chainsaw. You can counter it with your hand and then shoot, as opposed to the controller where you have to pull out your knife and then pull out your gun. But Resident Evil 4 is not a scary Resident Evil game, but in VR, my God,
you can counter in the remake in 4.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
but you
said not a controller though.
You have to use your knife button. In this game, you can hold your knife the entire time.
But I thought he has it like this the whole time, and you can still. Oh no, because he's the flashlight.
He does have it in his hand, like animation wise. But
for whatever reason.
And the flashlight, you can also hold the flashlight.
Yeah.
You can put the flashlight in VR mode. You can put the flashlight to your chest. You can hold it. You can hold it like this. You can hold it like that. You can actually turn it. It makes it way scarier. By the way,
the people that do Resident Evil
graphics,
Capcom,
thank you.
Is that right?
Yeah,
oh, thank God.
It's not Square Enix.
The people that do Resident Evil are actually like they're pretty ahead of everybody else when it comes to VR. They outside of like Half-Life Alyx, Steam.
They don't.
Whatever,
Valve. This game is not made for VR. It was probably made with VR in mind, but it is adapted to VR.
But it's still made by Capcom, right?
And it's adapted to VR perfectly. I remember some of the cutscenes you're pulled back. Right. You'll be in VR mode, and you'll talk to somebody, and it'll go into widescreen like you're watching a movie in the theater. Sometimes it does that, sometimes it doesn't. You can tell that it's kind of patched in, but it's excellent. It's excellent.
Resident Evil 7, when that first came out, that was like one of the first big games that came out on VR.
Yeah, where it was a long, full playthrough VR. Yeah. 10 hours long.
Yeah. Anyways, Capcom.
Good job, Capcom.
Capcom, yeah.
You guys are still using your...
No cap.
Renaissance. You're still in your renaissance, and you're going strong. Keep it up. And
hey, shout out Cap. How many shout outs are we going to give for
and
game
make
developers?
a Mega Man game, please.
We're not going to do that. You know what? Hey, that's the show.
Yeah, that's the show.
I've sent people to prison this episode.
Yeah.
I've called games not games this episode. This is an all-timer for me.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Good job. Way to upset people.
Both of you
couldn't
too.
come up with my top 5 on the spot.
You know what? That's a low point for
Cut
you.
that out.
You should know that.
I shouldn't
off the top of your head. Come on.
All right. Yeah,
favorite underrated video game. Any underrated multiplayer game.
Last of Us, I think, is underrated.
There you go. That's on your list.
All right.
We'll get it some other time. If you come here next week and you do a top 5, I'm doing another top 5.
Okay.
But mine's not going to be like yours.
Yeah, that was a great top 5.
Mine's be
Good
different.
job, James.
All right. Hey, guys. The episode's over. So I don't know why you're still here. Thanks, I guess. Like, follow, subscribe. I'm forgetting something. Comment? Maybe?
Something? Sure, comment.
Hey, leave a comment too. We appreciate that. So we'll see you next week. We'll probably talk about Hellblade.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll probably talk about Hellblade. So we'll be here next week. Same place, same time. Actually, one day earlier, but same place.
See ya. Play a Vanillaware game, please.